What is up, guys? In this video, I'm going to give you the exact 7-step roadmap to get you from SDR to AE in under 18 months, step by step. So if you're watching this, maybe you've been grinding out 100, 200 cold calls a day in hopes of getting promoted. Maybe you see your teammates getting promoted while you feel stuck, or maybe no one at your company is getting promoted, and you're looking on LinkedIn and you see SDRs at other companies promoting to AE, and you just feel frustrated, and maybe you're just worried you're going to be stuck in SDR purgatory forever. Or maybe you're just a newer SDR and you really want to hit the ground running and want to avoid any of the massive mistakes that would delay your promotion timeline. If that's you, then don't click off this video because I'm going to give you the exact roadmap to get you to that AEC in under 18 months. But before I show you the roadmap, I want to show you that I'm not just some random guru online who this worked for one time. And I want to show you some people that this actually worked for and some people that have already helped, just to give you a little more peace of mind that this system actually works. So take a look at Dan. He was crushing it as an SDR, but the problem was there really wasn't much of an internal headcount for promotion to AE. He was a top performer. He was a top dog. But again, there was just no opportunity internally. And so maybe you can relate to this. But anyways, he and I worked together. He used this exact playbook. And we found him a role at Datadog externally with 150K OTE. And as you can imagine, he's crushing it now, way happier, loves tech sales, loves his job. And so pretty awesome for him. Or take a look at Seth. He was stuck at a pretty mediocre SDR organization. He was grinding, but there was no path to AE. And so we worked together and found him a role at an SDR role at an A-tier organization where he's just started. Now he's crushing it. He's like top performer on his team already. And now he's well on his way to become an AE there. And not only that, but he's also making almost twice what he's making at this SDR org in his previous one. Or take a look at Patricio. The guy had spent nearly 6 months trying to book a meeting off of a cold call. We worked together, fixed his outbound engine, and in just 2 days, he booked 3 meetings off of cold calls. And, it wasn't his fault. His management literally just didn't emphasize cold calling. They didn't equip him to have success with it because they didn't value cold calling much. But yeah, he loves it and now he's crushing. Or look at my buddies, Kate and Patrick. They were going through the internal MongoDB interview process where they only accepted about 10 out of 20 candidates for internal promotion. Both of them used my framework. They crushed the interview and both promoted to AE in under 18 months. And last but not least, look at my wife. Her manager literally told her that he didn't think she was ready to interview and told her to hold off several months. I disagreed. And so she decided to apply anyways. She used my exact interview framework and absolutely crushed the interview. A different manager told her that was the best interview at Box they had ever seen. She, of course, landed the role. Now she's crushing it. And so I'm just telling you this stuff because I want you to see that this is real proof and not just theory. And again, before we get into any of the training, I just kind of wanted to share my story just so you can hear exactly where this framework came from. So back in 2020, I graduated with my doctorate in physical therapy. I was $125,000 in student debt with a 6% interest rate. And not only that, it was COVID, right? So it took me almost an entire year before I could even find my first job. So I was drowning in debt. I was super unhappy. But I finally got a job making 70K a year. That same year, though, in 2021, I started dating and married my incredible wife, Sarah. We always joke that she thought she was marrying a rich doctor. I was a doctor, but I wasn't rich. And I was actually quite the opposite. But I'm thankful that she didn't know too much about finances and was willing to marry me. And so the reality was, and even still is, that unless you open your own clinic, you max out on your PT salary really fast. Like it's hard to make more than 6 figures as a PT. And so the debt to income ratio is pretty horrible. I don't know why anyone would go to PT school, but that's a story for another time. And so again, I was drowning financially, 125K in debt. And so to make matters worse, and because I was desperate, I started throwing everything into Bitcoin. But it wasn't just like regular Bitcoin. It was crypto holding accounts, BlockFi and Celsius. You can look them up. Long story short, they went bankrupt and I lost most of my money there. So look at this photo of me back then. I looked super disheveled. I was super unhappy, super mad at myself. All my wife ever wanted to be was a stay-at-home mom, but I felt upset that I knew I couldn't provide that for her with the way things currently were, and I knew I had to make a change. I couldn't go back to school, or I just didn't want to take on even tens of thousands of dollars of debt. And so, sales was pretty much chosen out of necessity. I had no valuable skill set, but I knew that, hey, if I get a sales job and I grind, like I can make something for myself and for our family. And so I decided to pivot to tech sales, and unfortunately, it took me months before I could even find a role. I finally, through a friend, found a mentor and landed my first SDR role at a 40K base and 50K OTE. And so, with $125,000 of debt hanging over my head, I just didn't have the luxury of sitting around for a few years stuck as an SDR. I couldn't afford it, and I knew I needed to become an AE because every single month that I wasn't in an AE was basically a month I was drowning financially, and was a month that my wife still had to keep working, etc. And so I went in with a massive chip on my shoulder. I broke company records for meetings booked, and actually earned an internal AE promotion at that first company in just 5 months. That being said, I chose to decline the offer just because I knew that and I went for an enterprise SDR role at Mongo, just because I knew that the total addressable market for databases was so much higher than the software I was selling at the time. And so, I basically chose the long term career leverage. And honestly, the AE pay wasn't even that much better than the SDR pay, which is maybe hard to imagine, but it's true. And so I chose the tier one organization at MongoDB for the long term career leverage. So adding it all up, 5 months at the previous role, 16 months at MongoDB. It took me 21 months to promote to an AE on strategic accounts. And so through my own experience and through helping out my clients, I've been able to build you a shortcut. Like I said, my wife and I use this exact playbook to get into tech sales and promote to AEs. And we were actually able to wipe out all $125,000 student debt and buy a house in just under 2 years, which sounds hard to believe, but it's the truth. And so it's crazy. Love tech sales. And so look at our life now. We paid off all consumer debt, all student loan debt, bought the house. And now my wife will be able to stay at home with our two kids, just like she's always wanted. And so I built SDR Accelerator to be the exact framework that I needed on day one. So you don't have to spend 21 months or more grinding it out in SDR Purgatory. So now it's time to talk about the actual training, showing you exactly how to go from point A, an SDR with a 75K OTE, to point B, which is landing that elite SMBAE role or inside role at 130K OTE. And here's where the majority of the tech sales industry goes completely wrong. SDRs believe that if I just cold call enough people and hit my activity metrics, then my manager will notice me and then I'll get promoted. And as we all know, that's complete nonsense. If you're at an F tier company with a terrible product, zero market fit, and a manager who gatekeeps promotions, you can make 500 calls a day and you'll be stuck as an SDR forever. Right? So being an elite SDR, it's not about raw volume. It's more holistic than that. Even though I hate the word holistic, it's true. And so to bridge this gap from point A to point B, like I said, there are 7 core pillars you need to execute on. And so let's start with pillar 1, company audit. So first, your company, we immediately have to determine if it's better for you to stay at your current company and promote internally, or if it's better just to cut ties and leave for an S tier organization. If your company architecture is broken, nothing else we do matters. And so maybe the answer to this is already obvious to you. But regardless, it's good to talk about the different possibilities and look at the hard data. And just as a side note, if we do find that your company is a dead end door, then I actually have an entire system designed to upgrade you to a better SDR role. Which brings us to pillar number 2, mindset. Once we're confident you're at the right organization, we then have to fix the mindset you have about yourself, the mindset you have about the world, and then think about how that relates to your mindset about tech sales specifically. The reason this is important is if your beliefs don't correspond to reality, you're going to make foolish decisions in regards to both your life and your career. This pillar is all about helping you know what's actually true so that you can execute at an elite level. Which brings us to pillar number 3, the outbound engine. In this pillar, we build your pipeline machinery. It's all about identifying ideal accounts, identifying the key personas inside those accounts, and actually doing effective omni-channel outreach. In my experience, most reps just tend to blindly spray and pray generic corporate templates to random titles, which guarantees high rejection and zero pipeline. I show you how to pinpoint the exact high value accounts that are actually ready to buy, map out the precise decision makers who hold the budget, and execute a multi-channel outreach system that systematically converts them into high quality meetings. Which brings us to pillar 4, workflow efficiency. In this pillar, I help you optimize your daily routine so that you aren't just busy, you're effective. If you spend your entire day jumping between Slacks, emails, and bad data without a structured calendar, you're bleeding both time and energy. I show you how to build a hyper-focused daily schedule that strips out the administrative noise and ensures that every single block of your time is spent on high-yield, quota-crushing activities. Which brings us to pillar 5, internal branding. This pillar is all about how to have a really strong internal brand, network effectively, and use acceptable ways to put the spotlight on yourself. In a corporate environment, if leadership doesn't know who you are, you're practically invisible. And so I teach you how to build a powerful network of allies inside your company and strategically showcase your wins without looking arrogant, making sure that executive leadership naturally notices your impact. Which brings us to pillar 6, AE skill set. This is where I train you on being viewed as an AE and having actual AE level skills. If you want to close deals, you have to stop thinking like an SDR and start operating like a closer. I give you the tactical training to develop genuine acumen in discovery, qualification, and multi-threaded navigation, shifting how the business perceives you so that you can completely dominate the internal interview. Which brings me last but not least to pillar 7, ongoing support. In this pillar, I provide you the actual guardrails and accountability so you don't fall off track. This program isn't about giving you static videos and just leaving you to struggle on your career alone. I do targeted one-on-one sessions, as well as access to recurring weekly calls for as long as it takes to get you to AE, keeping you sharp and supported as you navigate the corporate landscape. So basically, you're left with a decision right now. And there's really just two choices. Option A, you can leave this video right now, try to implement all the strategy on your own, try to navigate internal corporate politics on your own. But most of the time, most people who choose option A never really take action. They get pretty overwhelmed because this stuff can be pretty challenging to navigate. And there's just an endless list of things that can go wrong that could delay your promotion by 3, 6, even 12 plus months. Which brings us to option B, where you can get my direct help inside of SDR Accelerator. And I hope it's obvious by now, but this is not just some generic information course where you log into some portal, watch some videos, where I leave you to figure it out all on your own and you never hear from me again. The single biggest pillar of this program is where you get my ongoing support, whether that be reviewing your talk tracks, reviewing your metrics, helping you navigate internal conversations. And so I just want to give you the peace of mind that it's not like you're just buying a course, you're buying a partner who's going to help you implement best practices in your path to AE. Right. So I actually wanted to spend a few moments maybe addressing some of the beliefs you have and what you think versus what the actual reality is of the SDR Accelerator program. So maybe you're thinking to yourself, sounds great, Thomas, but I just really don't have time for this program. I'm already slammed trying to hit quota. The reality is, though, this program is literally built for busy people where most weeks have less than 15 minutes of content weekly. And so this isn't more work. It's really just more focused on giving the exact tactical clarity that you need to stop wasting your time on high stress, low yield activities, and it'll help optimize your day, which will actually save you time. Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, man, there's just like so much free content already on YouTube or LinkedIn. Why would I want to pay for a program? And totally hear where you're coming from. But in my experience and many other people's experience, free content gives you so much information overload and messy theory, and there's a lot of bad stuff out there too. And so what I've done is I've sorted through all the information and condensed it into what actually matters in terms of getting you promoted. So you can feel free to try to guess and spend time piecing things together like I did, or you can take this proven shortcut. Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, sounds great, Thomas, but I already have a manager and they're navigating a lot of these career conversations with me. Or maybe they're not even doing that. But the reality is you often can't tell your manager the truth about what's actually going on in your heart or just in your life because it might involve looking at a different company. Or maybe they'll judge you for something you're struggling with that you bring to them and it'll give them a bad taste about you and then they'll actively work to not promote you. On top of that, many SDR managers haven't sold in a long time. And so navigating deals and promotions in a rapidly changing AI world can be pretty challenging. And something that I've actually witnessed from people that I know is that SDR managers are often structurally incentivized to gatekeep promotions because promoting you would mean they have to backfill top talent, which would make them need to retrain from someone from scratch. And so not sure if that applies to you, but just know it's a possibility. And some of you, maybe you're agreeing with me right now, but you're just thinking to yourself, hey, Thomas, I see your steps, but I'm just going to try to do this transition by myself and try to figure out internal branding on my own. But sometimes trying to navigate internal corporate politics alone can be a pretty big risk. Like, for example, some companies have a strict policy to where if you fail the internal interview, you have to wait another 3, 6, or even 12 months before you can interview again, which think about how much that could cost you, right? So, and that's just one example. There's several others I could give, but anyways, just something to keep in mind. And, maybe you're sitting there thinking, I'm terrified at starting all the way over as an SDR to a new company if that ends up being the right fit for you. But again, that's actually not my first recommendation. It's kind of like a last resort recommendation. But if you do have to change organizations, guess what? These top tier organizations that I'd be helping you get into tend to pay way better right out the gate. So, kind of like with Seth, who I mentioned earlier, like he's almost doubling his pay, right? So if that ends up being the right move for you, it's not a reset or even like a lateral move. It's actually a financial upgrade that will fast track your promotion into AE and equip you better to be an AE anyways. Finally, let's talk about the actual financial reality here, because looking at an accelerator like this as an expense instead of an investment is costing you thousands of dollars per month. So let's walk through the actual math of doing nothing, right? So the average OTE for an SDR across the industry is around 75K a year. Maybe yours is higher, maybe yours is less, but uh, regardless, the average OTE for an SMB or inside AE is 130K a year, right? So that's a baseline difference of $55,000 a year. So breaking that down into monthly numbers, that's effectively $4,500 a month that you're losing every month you stay stuck as an SDR. And don't mistake this for a plan where you only see an ROI a year or two from now, right? Because when you implement my outbound engine and workflow efficiency frameworks, you'll immediately start uncovering more high quality opportunities, which will directly lead to higher commission checks right away. And like I mentioned before, if the strategic move for you is to move you to a better SDR organization, then guess what? You're likely going to be making a higher base salary and getting bigger commission checks. So when you hesitate investing in yourself and your career architecture, what you're essentially saying is you're comfortable missing out on immediate commission bumps and you're comfortable losing $4,500 a month just to stay stuck on the SDR hamster wheel. And just one more thing to keep in mind: if my system helps you land that 8-year role just 6 weeks sooner, it more than pays for itself, right? So every single month that you delay your promotion because you're trying to piece together the noise and figure it out alone, you're essentially writing your company a check for $4,500 a month. Staying stuck is what's actually expensive. So like I said before, you really have two choices right now. Option A is you keep doing what you're doing, keep making 100, 200 cold calls a day, dealing with the micromanagement, crossing your fingers, hoping leadership notices you, hoping they change their mind. Or you can go with option B. You can click the link down below and we can book a brief strategy call together where we can look at your exact situation and diagnose your primary career blocker. And if you're a good fit, I'll hand you the blueprint to fast track your path to AE. And just to give you peace of mind, I'm not going to make you an offer if I don't think I can help you or if I think you're a bad fit. And I really don't want to just like twist your arm into buying from me and then have you regret it later and then leave a bad review. Like, my goal is to really help people get to AE because I felt that pain myself. And so on that call, it's really just hearing about you, seeing if you're a good fit. And if I think I can help you, I'll walk you through exactly what it looks like to work with me. So if you're ready to stop waiting, stop guessing, and start earning what you're actually worth, then click the link down below, book a call, and I will talk to you soon.